All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scoot Friday number 354.
Yeah.
Today, I am joined by Abe, our, our chief of the beta program and customer service, and Rajan, the man behind all the censoring
Everyone.
of your comments. It's a joke. We don't censor any comments. Truly. So yeah, welcome guys. So this week we are going to focus on, I guess, what's new, maybe what we are all working on. That could be nice. The pro beta as well. So we have a couple of updates for people. There's a couple of the new issues that we see too with IoT, the software. So we should address this so everyone is on the same page. And maybe talk about our event that we have today in Montreal. Um, so yeah, let's start with maybe what have you been working on, Abe, recently?
Yeah, I think like you said before, the pro beta program has been taking up a lot of our bandwidth, especially me personally, because I've been the one handling all the requests from the riders, making sure to report it to Eloi and Aaron, our engineers, coordinating with the repair centers anytime there's like an issue and something need to get fixed and get the riders back on the road, right? Because they have their 45-day period and then got to get the 500 kilometers in. So it's really been like a on call type of thing where we're just monitoring it, learning a lot. Honestly, it's been pretty cool, regardless of like there's an IoT issue. There were like a couple other minor things, but it's cool to get like that direct feedback from the riders. They've been very candid and like open about their feedback, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But I feel like it's much easier to talk to somebody or talk to a rider in that environment where it's just like, you know what I mean? They understand they're a tester, they understand they're using a product that isn't like absolutely perfect yet. So they're open to dealing with some of the fixes, they're open to dealing with some of the troubleshooting, which you don't always get from the average rider. So it's interesting to get like both sides of the coin and to see what we can fix for our the regular consumers who are buying the Air, who are buying the City, who might buy the Rover and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's a complete different dynamic, right? When they are in that bit of mindset. What are like maybe the two most common, let's say, except the IoT that everyone is affected by this issue? What are the two most common issue or point of like a friction that you see with customers for the Pro Beta?
Let's see. I think obviously the suspension issue was a bit of a pain for most people, and it's kind of like it can be an ongoing thing if they're not doing it properly. So if they're not really lubing it, they're not using like a thick grease, the creaking just comes back after a couple rides. So it's really walking them through that process and then them understanding what they need to do, which at first I think most people are a bit it's like hard to get it out. The screws are a bit tight, but once they do it, I think it gets a bit easier. And then they understand like, oh, okay, it's not too hard to do it. And it's just part of general maintenance that most people need to do.
And what
Uh,
was the issue for people that are not in the beta group and are listening right now?
so at first, there were certain scooters that didn't have like the bushing on the suspension shaft, right? So that was causing a lot of play inside the shaft, and it creaks very loudly. Like you'll hear it on this like a loud creaking no matter what you do, no matter what you tighten, no matter what you lubricate.
The
Um,
third horn, right?
Exactly. Basically, you see you coming. We could see you coming down the street. You don't even have to press the horn or the bell, which is kind of a cool feature, I guess. But some people find it annoying. So basically, what you had to do is take out the suspension shaft in the front, put the bushings on. But while you do that, you also needed to grease it up. Some people might have just been using like a Jigaloo or like a basic spray, but for that type of movement and how much that causes friction for like a big scooter like that, you need something thick, like maybe like a thicker grease paste that they use for, I don't know,
Mhm.
motorcycles or cars or stuff like that, which some customers recommended. Another thing I noticed there too is people would do that, but they wouldn't tighten the bolts properly when putting the shaft back on. So maybe using some Loctite to make sure it's really tight in there and keeping it stiff, and then over time it's been fine. So, and I did,
Overall, luckily for us, it was an easy repair to do
yeah.
for the customer, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty straightforward to do. Like most people were able to do it themselves. There were some riders that, let's say, were in New York or LA and in Montreal that just didn't feel like doing it themselves and brought it into the shop, and they were able to do it on the spot, get them back on the road, which is pretty cool too. So that was one. The other one, I guess, again, it's tricky too because you're not really sure how severe it can be. But a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there was maybe like a handful of riders that mentioned the wobble. But again, like I had this discussion with you a couple days ago where it's just like we don't really know what terrain they're riding on. We don't really know how bumpy it is. I don't know how fast they're really going when they're getting the wobble. So again, it could be a bit of a consequence of like the terrain, the stance you're riding in, like are the tires like adequately pressurized, all kinds of stuff. But then again, if they do check all those boxes and they say, no, I'm still getting all this wobble, then it's kind of walking them through tightening the direction nut, which if you've seen the video to do, it's not the easiest thing to do. It requires a few tools like the spanner wrench. You need some bigger adjustable wrenches too, and a bit of like some elbow grease you got to put into it. But it's been proven by, I think, like at least 4 or those 5 riders that have had to do the direction nut tightening, and it almost 99% of the wobble has been gone. So that's pretty cool to see on a scooter that goes like easily 75 kilometers per hour and there's no wobble. I mean, that's nice. So that's another thing I've seen. I think those have been the 2 most common. And then now obviously the IoT thing. There have been some app stuff, but I mean that's also normal. It's like a brand new app that we just released. A lot of cool features. There have been some bugs, but the dev team has really been on the ball getting them fixed. Like we get them all the information, all the screenshots, screen recordings, and they get it fixed right away.
Yeah, definitely for the speed wobble, like having integrated design, that's one of the downside is some parts are definitely harder to access. Make it all clean with the wires going through. It's sometimes can be challenging to remove. But at least, like you said, it's maybe like 5, 6, 7 cases, and out of the 140 riders, it's pretty good. And the good news is that there's nothing critical, right? Okay, you're gonna get the speed wobble, which it's not ideal, but it's not. There's no neck cracking, there's no throttle sticking or anything like that. So overall, it's great to see that all the effort that we put in designing the product, making it like so thick on all the parts to be sure it was strong, that it's coming to fruition with this model. And okay, yeah, and you touch a little bit on the IoT issue, so we should definitely address that. So as of last week, everything was working perfectly. We completed all the beta focus group with the Canadian side. So we had 2 calls with every customers in focus group of maybe 10 people. Everything was perfect. Some buggy about the app or some like a speed wobble, but overall the experience was fantastic with the IoT itself. And we're always pushing new updates with the firmware. Every week we are trying something new and pushing it. We are able to do it over the air. So from my computer, I can connect to the servers and just push update to IoTs. So customers don't even realize when we push update. Last week we're testing an update. Everything was working beautifully. It fixed a ton of issue with IoTs. We asked our supplier because we work with a partner for the IoT. Apollo don't have the resource to create their own antenna and cellular service and all the services that are required to do this. And this provider pushed the wrong firmware that basically bricked all the IoTs. And what's going to happen when you have this bad firmware is your scooter is going to turn on, and then it's going to flash on and off until you turn it off physically. So for me, I had 2 scooters in my basement, and they flashed all weekend, and I didn't know. It's when I checked Monday that I saw them. And when we went in, when our team in New York went in and came to work basically on Tuesday or even Montreal Monday, they saw that all the scooters were flashing. They were, okay, what is happening? And that's when we realized that, well, something was wrong with the firmware. And then on your side, you started getting tons of emails about that, right? So basically, it's sending way too many comments of like on, off, on, off, on, off. And this is causing the controllers switch to wear out prematurely. We send an email that we say the controller is going to burn, basically. And that was the wrong word to use. Internally we say, okay, the switch is burned or whatever, but we don't mean it's gonna it's going to explode or there's going to be any fire. It's really just it's going to wear out prematurely. So we should have definitely revised that before sending it out even more. But yeah, so what does it mean for customer? All of you who has a Pro, you need to disconnect it right away, the IoT, because you're going to get to a point if you don't disconnect it, like I did on mine. I left it connected to see what would happen. You won't be able to turn off the scooter. Every time you're going to turn it off, it's going to come back on because it's an open circuit, basically, with the on-off switch. So that's why it's important that you disconnect it. If you disconnect it and then you can turn it off, it stay off, and when you turn it on, it stay on. Then it reaches the IoT that you're going to need, the little antenna, and we provided video to everyone of how to replace it. Regent, if you can post the video in the comment here, that would be great. It's on our YouTube unlisted list for the beta user. We're going to be sending probably in the next 2 weeks new IoT antennas. You're just going to connect it. It's an easy plug connector, so no soldering is required. And then you're going to get back the connectivity that you had before, and you can just proceed with the testing. If you are like me, and now every time you turn it off, it's coming back on, most likely what's going to need to happen is a replacement of the controller as well. And that we're looking in ways how we can accelerate it, because it takes quite a bit of time to produce a Mac 2 controller. Now there's like the casing you need to CNC, there's the anodization process, and building the PCB itself. It's when we went to China, we saw the machine doing it one by one. It's very fast, but like to assemble everything, flash the firmware, it takes weeks and weeks. So the good news is that everyone can still use their scooter. Even if you can't turn it off, what we say to people is maybe just put it in park mode. So all the lights on the scooter is going to become red for 2 minutes, but after that, only the rear footrest is going to stay on. So the battery consumption is going to be drastically reduced compared to if you have all the lights on the scooter, because it's constantly on the scooter itself. So that would be the fix, and just continue to ride your scooter to achieve the 500 kilometers. Yeah, so at least it's nothing preventing users from using the scooter like on the road. So that's, I guess, like good news within the bad news. And yeah, this is what is happening. So for everyone listening, for everyone in the beta group, please disconnect the IoT for now. Again, it's a good thing that this happened for the beta user. Yeah, we have a question here from Martin. Hi, Martin. How do you think that this impact the longevity of the controllers? It's probably taking a few life cycle of the switch off, but this is under warranty. So if like you have a problem in the future that you do encounter this, just write to us and we're going to replace the controller. And obviously we have a clear list of all the beta testers. So there's a note for you in the future if this happens. But there is, I think it's 1,400,000 cycle for the on-off switch. So it's just so much, right? Now we are burning through it because we are sending like a crazy amount every second. That's why it's going so fast. But yeah, so it should be fine even if you remove it and it's not burned. I don't think it's going to be a problem in the future. So yeah, this happened this week. So a very busy week for us, trying to fix that, answering all the emails, making the video of how to replace the IoT, figure out with our partner how the hell did that happen, and putting measure in place so it never has happened again in the future. So yeah, busy. So like I said, last week, we finally completed all the Canadian beta focus group. So a few things that we learned and we're gonna change. We decided we're gonna improve some area of the scooter to make it even more waterproof. No water ingress was flagged to us. It's just when we're looking at the model, we saw that there was a couple of things that I would like to make better. The folding mechanism, we want to improve it even more to be smoother, and to lock better in place, and just to withstand even a longer life cycle. We want to add bearings in the front swing arm and the rear swing arm to prevent the creaking that you were mentioning. Right now it's only bushing, so it's good. It's like this on pretty much all scooters, but having bearings there, it's just going to make it so much smoother. And then we're going to use the same quality of bearing that we use for the direction. So it's going to be top notch. That's going to be great. NSK bearing, the Japanese one. What else? We are changing a couple of screws too, like the screws on the fender. They are easy to strip. We're gonna put some that are more durable with not rounded head. So that's going to be great, mostly for repairs when you want to change a component. We reinforce the rear plate as well, just because we saw that at 10,000 kilometers there was some wear and tear on it. So now we just like change the structure inside. So that's going to be great. For the rear suspension, people love the rubber rear suspension, so that's great. It's confirming what we thought about it. So adding those bearings is just going to make it even smoother. There's going to be 4 bearings at the back, so it's going to be great. And the big change, also we're going to add clip inside the body to hold all the wires really neatly, because now even me, when I play on it, it's always a challenge to place all the wires properly. So having those clip holding everything down is just going to make it way easier for the customer. It's going to reduce the amount of maybe issue that can occur when you open the deck, close it. And now that everyone's going to open their IoT and disconnect it, please make sure that no wires are being pinched, because that's annoying. You change IoT, close everything back, and then your lights are not working or something. So that's going to be improved. And we are looking to add a latch to when you close the scooter to stay locked, basically. Like we have like we show on the new Apollo Light, we have a button now, and the new system is a little clip that you push in, and you have a button you press, and it's going to release that latch. We are looking to put the same thing on the Pro, not really for carrying it more easily, because it's easier to just grab it by the handle in the front of the swing arm, but it's mostly when people put it in the car, because you have the handlebars swinging on each side. So having a way to lock it in place is going to prevent damaging the handle grip that some user reported. So that's going to be cool. And in the toolkit itself, we're going to include turning signal cap replacement from the get-go, because as we know, those are plastic, they're easy to remove. It's only screwed there, so that's great. But if you drop the scooter, it's going to crack. So having those caps from the start in the kit, it's just it's great. So that's what we learned so far, and a bunch of other things related to QC that I won't walk into right now, but it's great because it shows that even with just a Canadian side completed, we learned so much about the Pro that I can't wait to hear more about the US one and really see if there's new issues as well. But overall, people love the Pro. It's a lot of improvement, but the common theme across all those focus group is that people are in love with their scooter, and they never rode something like that. So that's great. We have Kevin Irituta saying that he got his Ghost yesterday and that he loves it. I'm glad that you love it, Kevin. Take a look at the upgrade kit as well for the Ghost. It changed the whole vibe of the scooter with the region and the app. So maybe you ride the V2 this summer, and next year it's going to feel like you have a brand new scooter with the app connectivity and the new display. So, but glad that you love it. Martin, at least you have a method of destructive life cycle testing your controller power switch. Exactly. So we learned. I didn't know before this issue that we had 1,400,000 cycles. So now, we are learning a lot. Marco, hang in there, guys. This is why you did the beta, and it's what we signed up for. This will just make the scooter better. Exactly. Like I said, I'm so glad that this happened to just like the core focus, to the core beta group rather than 2,000 customers. It's exactly what we did that beta for, and we are offering you the real beta experience. So great. Another question from Michael: are beta testers going to get all the hardware change upgrade of the final unit? Honestly, probably not, because some of them, like adding a latch, you just need a whole new deck, a whole new headset assembly. That's so expensive, and if you need the bearings as well in the front and the back, you need a brand new swing arm, and the swing arm is, as you know, on your scooter, it's a massive piece. So it would be, I think, way too challenging to replace those parts for everyone. The cost would be incredibly high. It's almost a brand new scooter at this point, except the battery and the motor. I think one thing we're gonna try to do is maybe make those parts available for purchase. if like you want to buy it at a discount, obviously. Anyway, our parts are always solo the cost, so maybe make those parts available for you and offer this service via the repair center. That would be maybe a good solution. For the parts though that we judge that are easy to replace, like the folding mechanism latch, the new one, that we're probably going to send to everyone. And if we see any other parts like this that we are related to like a safety and easy to replace, we're going to make them available for sure. So we need to talk to the team. Honestly, I haven't talked to the team about that yet, so we will confirm. And at the end of the beta group testing, we're going to send an email really saying everything we learned, everything we're going to change, how we're going to proceed with the future parts. So just stay tuned, and you're going to know more soon, and me as well. From Martin, don't forget the top rubber gasket when you replace the upper deck. Yes, so when you open the IoT and you want to replace it, there's a gasket around the deck inside. So when you put back the deck in place, just make sure the gasket is properly in its groove, because it's so tight that if it's a bit off, it's going to cut it. So just be careful with this. The Martin saying that the Pro is so zen when you are out on it, solid and so silent. All you hear is the wind. That's true. You hear the wind and the like this, like the voltage and the amp going through the motors. It's so satisfying. And some of the people at the warehouse, they have the tech. They have the V5 tires with the knob, and you really hear even more the tire. It's so satisfying. Those one are also going to be available on the website for people who wants them once we launch the Pro. All right, from Froy Hyper. My scooter is broken. I need some new parts. To be honest, my steering is going to 360. All right, lovely. I guess reach out to the support team. I don't know what your model is or the spare part situation. If it's going to 360, it's either I would imagine it's either the city or the air. And your stopper is probably broken in the direction. On the 22, it was a little screw. On the 23, it's like a solid stud of metal there. So you're probably going to need to replace the whole front fork with the direction too. It's challenging, to say the least, because all the wires go through this. So I would suggest going to a repair center if you can. All right, Citro game. My friend has a 2021 Ghost and his tube is blowing way too much. Can we put sealant into it? The problem with sealant is that it doesn't work with tube tires. Yeah, thank you. It only works with tubeless. Even if they say it works on their website, it doesn't, honestly. So I would say no, it's probably a bad idea, and it's like you're going to create an imbalance with all that liquid in the tire, and those tires are already not the best balance because of that inner tube. So I would suggest what I would do. Let's say I always get flat on my Ghost. I would take the motor, I would remove the tire, remove the inner tube, I would split the rim open, I would take a sandpaper and just sand all around the rim to be sure there's no little metal sharp edges that can create those puncture. Because it can really only be that. It's that, or when you install it, you pinch the tire, or the inner tube itself is defective. So if you know you have a good inner tube, you inflate it before putting it in, you put it in the water, there's no bubble, you are careful when you install it and it's not getting pinched, it can really be only sharp edges. So I would do this, and this should be fine. I saw this week too someone that put on the rim itself, when you install it, you put like either old almost like tube. But yeah, you put something basically to create protection between the rim and the tire itself, and they even sell this stuff. It's pretty solid for bike.
Regarding that, I was just about to say, because I manage the community here, and one of the things that the community members have posted on Facebook and on Reddit is they've suggested putting like baby powder or like talcum powder on the tubes right when you replace them. Is that something that would work? Because apparently they use that tip for bicycles as well, for tube tires.
And this is to prevent the pinching?
Just to help prevent it from, to protect it, I guess, from pinching inside. Is that something you've heard about?
I never heard of that. So I would need to look more into it. I don't know, Abe, did you ever?
I've heard the best, is what you were just talking about. It was the tire. It's like tire liner is what they call it. just like some of it's like a polyurethane foam, or like you said, like an old inner tube or something, just as a barrier between the rim, like the motor and the tube, because maybe the motor gets a bit too hot at times and it just expands and pops. So if there's like a little layer of almost like it's like a thermal pad in between the tube and the rim, it seems to be the best. That's what I've heard from a few of our customers, and I usually suggest that, and it does a trick.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I saw it for bikes, and they were putting the whole inner tube in it, and people in the video are putting like a screwdriver through it, and it's not piercing the inner tube. So something to look at for sure. Yeah, and maybe put some baby powder, give it a kiss, and try it. No, but I know it's annoying. I'm lucky. I almost never got any flat on my tire, but I'm so careful. Every time I go for a ride, I check that it's properly inflated. I'm like a bit OCD on that. And that's why on all the new models we're switching away from this. Unfortunately for the Ghost, and that's a 2021, but it's not our mold. It's not like we don't own it. So all the change we're trying to do, it's such a big battle because there's tons of other customer buying those models. So to just change it for Apollo, even if it would benefit all the customers, it's near impossible. So that's why it's just easier to do your mold from the start of the whole scooter, and then you decide everything you want about it. So yeah, I would try those trick Citro game, and if it doesn't work, let us know, and maybe at this point it would be a new rim or a new motor, honestly. Question from social: will the Explore 2024, the Rover, have a beta program as well? Okay, will both those new scooters have a beta program? Yes, they will. Of course, all the new models are going to have beta program. I think we're going to revise the scope of it because I'm pretty sure we learned 95% of all the issues with just like the pro beta group of Canada. Not because they're Canadian or whatever, it's just like the size of that group. So I think doing a beta group of maybe 50 people would be enough. And like I said, we have calls with all those people. We have, I think, 50-ish calls. So it's so time consuming. It's insane. It's me, it's Aaron, it's Rachel, it's Maria, it's Derek, and it's Abe that gets all those emails. It's a lot of resource for a small company like us. So we're going to make it a bit smaller. And yeah, there's going to be beta groups. The next one's going to be the Light, and after that, it's going to be the Explorer. How it's going to work, we're probably going to use the same people that participated to the Pro Beta 1 that want to participate in the other ones because they are already familiar with the process, and some of them are really providing excellent feedback. So that's how it's going to go. The Explorer, we're going to do a walkthrough soon of the V2. And the Light V3, the Apollo Go at this point, V3 as well. So stay tuned. And you can already drop your name to reserve it, and I believe for the beta as well. Angelo Milo, I'm wishing for a carbon fiber build for the Apollo Air, but I think it would be too old care when that happened. You're going to be too old to care. I see. Well, carbon fiber. There's NIO that launched their new model, carbon fiber, at $24.99. Super expensive for specs that are less than the Apollo Air. So what we are wondering is which customer base is it really answering the need to? Because at this price, you can get something so much better than like a 48-volt 8AH single motor, no suspension scooter. Okay, it's 26 pounds. But you have the new Unagi, which is a single motor. You have the new Unagi, which is 28 pounds. You have dual motor, a bit more battery, still no suspension though, and 7-inch tires. But it's way cheaper. It's $9.99. So I don't know who's really going to buy that scooter. I think it's really cool though. I would love to do carbon fiber models. If we do one in the future, it's going to be a different type. I'm not going to do sheet of carbon like this. It's going to be a new technology that they came out with. So it's something we looked at in the past, that we have some partners to do it, but we really want to focus on getting the price down for now and launching crazy model like the Apollo Go. Apollo Go, Apollo Light, Apollo Rover, it's all the same. Now it's the Apollo Go that we call it, something that is offering the maximum amount of feature for the price. It's going to be either like a $11.99, $12.99, but you're going to have a dual motor with front and back suspension. Yeah, probably a front one, and the V3. And all the crazy feature with the quad lock, not wireless charger, but the quad lock there, our new display, the regen, the self-healing tires, the footrest, the crazy light, the turning signals. So we are focusing on that for now, and then maybe we're gonna switch the material. But yeah, that's what I'm focusing on, and for all the scooters to share the same parts as well. That's very important for us. So we have Kevin Ritota again. I already need more speed. Well, then said it's going at 65 your scooter, and that's pretty much the max we're gonna do. Some people with the Pro go 70, 75, but I would say take the Pro or okay, that's the max we're gonna offer. J Pang, when will the Apollo Phantom V3 be shipped for the people that had ordered 2 months ago? Rajan, do you have an update for those people?
Yeah, so I believe starting this week, we have updated all the information that we have regarding pre-orders on our pre-order delivery updates page. So whatever our CX team knows, we will post on that page. As soon as we get more information, we're updating that page weekly. But if you have specific questions about your specific order, you can always reach out to our support team. But most of the information that they have will be posted on that page as well. As soon as we get any updates on our end from UPS, from our shipping company, we always want to let you guys know as soon as we can, and it'll always be on those pages.
Perfect. Thank you. And I guess, so we're already at 31 minutes. So last question from Rupak Shakir. Apollo Go is the best name. Yes, I think so too. Any thought on tire pressure monitoring incorporated in display? By the way, received my V3 and I love it. So there is challenge with this on the display. No, because it's too complicated. No, not on the display, but let's say in the mobile app, right? The challenge that we have with this is tire monitoring pressure. It's either working with Bluetooth, and our Bluetooth, at least for the Pro, is already so saturated with the Bluetooth speaker, and the controller itself is sending so many data every second that adding to another third-party thing like the tire monitoring pressure, your dashboard would become laggy. So no. What I would do is go on Amazon or AliExpress or whatever, and they have them that you can really screw there, and it comes with a little separate display. That is something I would suggest doing. But I agree, it would be nice. It would be convenient. I'm the first one touching my tire every time I leave, or every time I hear a noise, I'm like, do I have a flat? And I check. So having this would be a peace of mind, but it's not something we're going to put, except if there's a new technology or we become better at managing our Bluetooth connection. And lastly, thought the Phantom did need a little TLC after delivery, common router issue from what I've seen. Yes, that's why I don't put disc brake anymore on any scooters. It's because they get bent during shipping, and the geometry of the scooter itself, for the Phantom, you have 2 different swing arms. So as soon as you twist a little bit in turning, you're going to hear the disc rubbing on it, and it's so annoying. So that's why. So I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it's a little tweak usually, and it's fine. And you have the regen on the V3. So that's pretty much it for this week. We have an event today in Montreal, hosted by Rajan that you have here. And we are going to have a ton of pro beta testers are going to come as well. So if you're in Montreal, please come join us. It's going to be tons of fun and a free pizza. And I'll be there as well with the R&D team and Abe as well to welcome you. So thank you for joining this week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.